सदाशिवसमारम्भाम् शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ताम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयम् करुणालयम् नमामि भगवत्पादम् शङ्करम् लोकशङ्करम्। शङ्करम् शङ्कराचार्यम् केशवम् बादरायणम् सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ऋकारस्त्वन्धकारो वै ऋकारस्तन्निवर्तकः अन्धकारनिरोधित्वात् गुरुरित्यभिधीयते। ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। Do we have somebody can spare this English translation, 3 copies for just 1 hour? Yeah, just what we have now we can spare for 1 hour. If we have to you have English, yeah, and to the one behind lady behind there to have this for this session. All the Upanishads reveal the true nature of Atma being Brahma. Sarvasam Upanishadam Atma Yathatmya Nirupanena Eva Upakshayat. Bhashikara Shankaracharya points out all Upanishads, the final teaching, the core teaching of the vision is Atma being Brahma, ever free, ever pure. The very nature of happiness, abiding happiness, that is fulfillment, that is said. Not only the Upanishads say the same thing, also Gita and all other texts in the Vedanta Shastra, they also have the same commitment, have the same vision. They represent only this. This is called Samvada. It's called Samvada. Pramana Samvada. Samvada meaning saying the same thing. Agreement among the various texts, various books, among various authors, various teachers. This is the Samvada. Here Pramana Samvada. Even though the whole Vedanta is looked upon as one Pramana. Pramana means of knowing, means of knowledge is Pramana. Like even eye is the Pramana for seeing colors and forms. Ear is the Pramana for listening to sounds and words. Similarly, Vedanta is the Pramana for understanding, for knowing the true nature of oneself, Atma. So, even though the whole Shastra is looked upon as one Pramana, Upanishad, Gita, it's all looked upon as one Pramana, yet being the works of being presented by various acharyas, teachers, Bhashyakara refers to here. Gītānām moksha dharmānām ca evam paratvāt. This alone is the final teaching, the central teaching of Gita, Bhagavad Gita also, and all texts dealing with moksha, discovery of the freedom, emancipation, freedom. This is called Pramana Samvada. Pramana Samvada indicates that this is the Tatparya, this is the vision, this is the teaching. Okay. Alright. Now, when you say that all the Upanishads have this alone is the Tatparya, this is the Parama Purushartha, the highest goal that is sought. Alright. When that is so, or if that is so, what for are karmas enjoined, various rituals, various actions, right, to be done, right, the way to be done, Kuru, saying that do this karma. What for? All these karmas are mentioned, given in the Vedas. If karma is Atma is Akarta, then who is the Karta there? To whom these karmas, these actions are enjoined? Do this, don't do this. To whom do they talk to? Vedas talk to. Does it mean that there is no Karta at all? If there is no Karta, doer, then what for there are rules, what for there are injunctions, what for practicing something, avoiding something, what for all this? So Bhashyakara says here, the Veda does not present the self, Atma, as the doer or enjoyer. Karta, Bhokta. Atma is Karta, the doer, Bhokta, the enjoyer. This is nowhere said in the Vedas. Then why karma then? Bhashyakara says here, Tasmat, therefore, in our book, in the Sanskrit book, page number 12, fourth line from the bottom, Tasmat, we'll just read that sentence. Tasmat Atmanaha Anekatva Kartritva Bhoktritvadicha Ashuddhatva Papa Viddhatvadicha Upadaya Loka Buddhi Siddham Karmani Vihitani. Karmani Vihitani. The actions are given, enjoined, do. Vihita, vidhi. Vihita means there is vidhi, there is a rule. We must understand that in the scriptures, in the teaching, where there is a seeming vidhi is there. Vidhi means rule. Do this, don't do this, avoid this. There are mentioned like that. So here, Shastra does not make us do things. We do things, that's all. Nobody makes us do things, just we do things, that's all. We choose to do. We do on our own accord sometimes, according to our own will, our own wishes we do. Sometimes we take the advice, the suggestion of the other people. That other person may be family, may be a teacher, may be an elder, or maybe the government, whatever it is. Right? Whatever. So we choose to follow, we choose to take to them. So we do things on our own, we do like that. So nobody makes us do things, we just do. Of course, somebody may tell that you do this, you will get this reward. You don't do this, you will be benefited. You will be protected from so much unwanted consequences. So that's all they may say. And that may be the consequences, may be that if you don't do this, you will miss this much. You will lose this much, etc. But all these are all vihita, there is vidhi. there is vidhi, there is a rule, injunction in the Shastra, but that does not make us do. We do, that's all. We choose to do, we decide to do. No action is decided by anybody else. We decide on our own accord. Everything is done by us only. We only do that. But then what about compulsion? Like, there's a disciplining is there, there's a forcing is there, somebody forces, right? Like the superior forces the inferior to do something, do now, okay, get up. Like in the police drill and all, military drill, army drill, okay, when the army men do the drill routine, the fellow says, right turn, left turn, quick march, stop, halt, etc. They were like the robot, they have to do, they do. This fellow, the commander or the instructor makes them do this. No. Of course, he gives the instructions, but it is the Jawan, the soldier, who decides to go by the instruction. So, what will happen if the army man does not obey? He will be given some other consequence will be there for it. Maybe dismissal from the military service itself, maybe disobedience, etc. So this the fellow does not want, right? The army man does not want the consequence of it, and therefore goes along with the instruction, guidance, etc. So when the scriptures, when the books, when the teaching says do, etc., there is no force on it. What is the spirit of all these do's and don'ts? The spirit is this only this much. This is good for you. To do this is good for you. By doing this, you stand to benefit. You stand to gain. You don't lose anything by doing this. And certain things, there are certain things which need to be avoided. By avoiding those things, you stand to benefit. You don't come to harm. You don't stand to lose anything, right? By doing that, you will come to harm. You will stand to lose, right? Like even smoking, smoking will stand to lose. The smoker stand to lose by taking to smoking, and therefore say don't smoke. That's all, right? So all the vidhi and nishedha, do's and don'ts, injunctions and prohibitions, do's and don'ts, vidhi nishedha, they only the spirit of all that is only this. By doing this, you will stand to gain. By avoiding this, you will avoid certain bad, unwanted consequences. That's all the spirit. And it is for us to choose. And in many a place, the Shastra mentions, by doing this, what do I stand to gain? By avoiding this, what do I stand to avoid? The loss. What harm I can avoid. The Shastra mentions in quite a number of places. In some places, by the spirit of it, we understand that it is for our good that this is said. That's all. The Shastra does not feel ego satisfaction, right? I gave this command, this fellow obey, okay? These fellows obey this fellow. I feel great about it. There's nothing personal about these vidhis and nishedha, do's and don'ts. There is nothing personal at all about this. Whatever rule is there, whatever do is there mentioned, there is nothing personal at all. The spirit is only this, do this, be wise, do this, choose to do this, you stand to gain this, that's all. You don't do this, then if you don't do, you stand to not to gain that, you will not get it, that's all, as simple as that. And similarly, certain bad things that are said bad because of the bad consequences. It is the consequence which decides, right? Decides the choice here. Do this also. Not always, but then here the consequence will be unpalatable, undesirable, unacceptable, harmful, and therefore avoid this. This is the spirit of all the vidhi nishedha, do's and don'ts. It is not that the Shastra or the teacher or the teaching master makes people make us do things, etc. It is not. We do things. Therefore, why karmani vihitani here? Shastra talks about karma. And when we look at the volume, right? Volume of the, if you say Vedas is this much, suppose, then Upanishad is only this much thickness alone in the Upanishad. Rest of it is all karma only, actions, action, action, injunctions, etc. That's all. Bulk of the Veda is only about doing things. That's very little is about knowing the reality, the truth. So, the bulk talks about karma only, actions only are enjoined. What is there? If karma is there, there must be a karta, the doer must be there. Without assuming the karta, how can there be karma, action? Without the doer, where is the doing? Where is the action? So, Bhashyakara says here, karmani vihitani, the karmas are enjoined, not because of there is a karta, not that the Veda assumes that or tells that you are a karta. What then? Here he says, loka siddha buddhim adaya. Loka buddhi siddham. What is already assumed? Siddham here is assumed. What is assumed? By whom? People assume, that's all. Take themselves for loka buddhi, the conception, the thinking. Buddhi here is the idea, the thinking of people. Lokasya buddhi, the thinking of the people. And taking to that, people assume themselves that we are karta, we are bhokta, we are doers, we are enjoyers. This is our nature, this is our true nature, this is what we are. And we are thereby, by doing we enjoy or we avoid certain misery, etc. Sukhi, dukhi, we are the happy ones, we are the suffering ones, I am the sufferer, etc. This is not taught by anybody, that you are a karta, that you are a dukhi, that you are subject to afflictions. Nobody teaches this. It's not a teaching. It's already there. We already have this idea. It's not a pramana siddham, not born of some teaching, not born of a pramana, the means of knowing. Nobody teaches that you are a karta, you are a bhokta, you are a doer, you are an enjoyer, you are only this much. Okay? Nobody teaches. No book says this. No scripture says this, says so. You are a karta, you are a sufferer. Nobody says. If anywhere we see this, that is wrong patently. It is just wrong. There's not a teaching there. Okay. Then what then? It is already there in the minds of the people, or the person. This idea is there. I am a sufferer, I am small, I am wanting, I am afflicted, etc., etc. I am as I am, as I see myself. I am not totally acceptable to myself. This is all already there. Loka buddhi siddham, this is. And being a self-conscious person, entity, that human being wants to be free from smallness also. Right? Become free. I think that I am small and that is not acceptable to me. I want to be free from this. This is part of the human trait, human nature. Being self-conscious, the fellow thinks that I want to become free from this smallness, being a sufferer also. Okay. This being there, this notion of this desire to be free from limitation, suffering being there, then the person tries to become. Animals are conscious, sentient, but they do not seem to have this self-awareness, self-consciousness, a self-image. We don't see in their behavior. We don't see the self-awareness, self-consciousness. Self-consciousness means a self-image that doesn't seem to be there. A dog, some of the dogs have certain bushy tails, okay? And then they don't look nice. Not for the dog. For the dog it's perfectly alright. Bushy tail or just a skinny tail, it's all fine for the dog. Dog does not have any image complex about it. Doesn't have any image complex. It does not go to beauty parlor, etc. It does not go. The master takes it. There are beauty parlors, spas, and then all the retreat centers, and then the cheer up the dog's mind, etc. There are people. It's a big business, big industry. Okay. Dogs have no problems. If the master The tail is not acceptable to the master, and therefore the fellow cuts the tail. The short tail, it's left the short tail. Why did you cut the tail? Let it be there. No, doesn't look good. The dog does not suffer from the image. I have a bushy tail, not so cute, etc. So it is sentient already, a living being, but no, the self-image that's not there, not acceptable to myself. Such an image is not there. It is happy for what it is. It is happy by itself. Okay. But then we, the human beings, we have a self-image, a notion about ourselves, and that self-image, as one has now, is not acceptable, totally not acceptable. Occasionally we forget our notion about ourselves, that's all. It is not that we are free from the notion, we forget it. When we are asleep, we just forget, we just drop it, we just drop the idea. And when we are happy, when we are elated, right, when you are very utterly, when you are moment of joy, we drop that notion. And then once the silver lining or the golden lining of happiness passes away, then we take it again, right? Take this self-image, comes back. So it is not that the Shastra teaches that you are a samsari, you are miserable, you are a sufferer, you are small, you are a doer, you are an enjoyer, you are subject to the vagaries of life, you are buffeted by the unpleasant, etc. Nobody teaches. But then it is not a pramana siddha, it is avichara siddham. A conclusion one arrives at, one takes to, without properly looking into it. Na vichara siddham, avichara siddham. No, right? Just assume myself to be a sufferer, small, wanting, that's all. I am subject to affliction. So and so, such and such things can affect me. This is just a conclusion without any ground, right? Without any reason, just conclusion. And people, what do you call that? Find some excuses. The person may try to find some excuse why I am a sufferer, right? Why I am sad, why I am sorrowful, why I feel bad about myself. Why? Because I have hair or I don't have hair. Okay. Some excuse people look for to substantiate their wrong conclusion. Okay. Start with the wrong conclusion and then find a reason for it. Okay. Funny. We should have a reason and then conclude, but we conclude and then find a reason for it, find an excuse, reason for it. So this is not born of a vision, this is born of confusion. Therefore Ashikara says, Loka Buddhi Siddham. This is already there in the minds of the people. What is that? I am samsari, I am kartai. What is there? Bhashyakara points out, Atmanaha, of the self, for oneself, for the Atma, na ekatva or anekatva, other than, more than one, right? Multiplicity. I am different from you. I am one Atma. You are another Atma. Right? And there are many Atmas. There are many words whose meaning we do not comprehend clearly. For example, there is the word soul. In English, they use the word soul. Right? Soul is not Atma. At best, it may be Jiva, and that's all. At best, the meaning of soul can be Jiva. That's at best. They may not mean the Jiva also. Okay. Because in certain concepts, okay, religious concepts, only the human being has a soul, they say, right? So, but we say that all are jivas are there. Even animals are jivas, we say. Therefore, the soul, the jiva is not the equivalent of soul exactly. It is interesting to note that, according to some, only Men have souls, okay? Women don't have souls. Why? I say so, that's all. Women don't have souls. Yes. Men only have souls, so women don't have souls. Why women don't have souls? Because woman was created out of the bone, okay? That's all. She was made out of a bone, she has no soul. Why? That's it. So, I say so. So, there are many words who do not really, the Jiva, Atma, these words don't have equivalence. We use self, etc. for want of any other better word, that's all we use. Okay. So, this Atma is many. I am one Atma, you are another Atma, he is another Atma, she is another Atman. These are all. Who said that Atma is many now? You are different from me, I am different from you, therefore you are sentient, I am sentient, you are happy, I am happy, you are sad, I am sad, okay? You are born, I am born, you die, I die. Simple. So you are one soul, I am another soul, you are one Atma, I am another Atma. So listen, and there are many Jivas, yes, there are many Jiva, the individuals are many, but then the truth is one, that is not known. That we are many, that I am different from you, that is not taught by anything, but it is assumed, anekatva, the multiplicity of being many, Atma being many. This is just there. This idea is just there. Similarly, kartrutva, bhoktrutva, and then Bhashyakara says adicha. By adi we say dukkhitva, samsaritva, being subject to dukkha, sorrow, and being a samsari, a migrating person, a traveler, timeless traveler, keeps on traveling. Doesn't seem to get anywhere. This is a traveler. Okay? Like in the treadmill, no? The people do the jog, walk. How many kilometers you did? No, I did 6 kilometers, 10 kilometers. What speed? No, 12 kilometers. 12 kilometers. My God. And then you did 30 kilometers. The fellow did not move, one has not progressed 1 foot, okay? Standing in the same place, treadmill, you do. Going without going, walking without walking, running without moving an inch. This samsari is like that, seems to be running all the time, getting nowhere, okay? They say, headless chicken, they say. Right? Like a headless chicken. Suppose, I have not seen it, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that horrible sight, poor thing, chicken. Okay. So they cut the head, and then still the body, because of the prana, etc., blood circulation, prana, the impulse, nervous, etc., it seems to run here and there for a few moments. It runs and then it falls. So where does it run? It can't see. Then why does it run? It just runs. The headless chicken just runs. The jiva assumes, the individual assumes oneself to be a samsari, a pointless traveler, aimless traveler. So these are all not said by anybody. People just assume kartrutva, bhoktrutva, doer, enjoyer, sorrow, etc. It's all assumed. Similarly, not only this, ashuddhatva, impure, I'm not okay, right? I'm not okay. I'm defective. I have certain defects. See, who has all these defects? Not the Atma, not the true self, but then the mind and the body, and then even the jiva may have certain defects. What are those defects? Ignorance is the biggest defect. Ajnana, avidya, confusion. These are all big defects. And then one being given to the sway of mood. Okay, mood swings are there. Okay? Big swings are there. Mood swing, they say. Now I am very fine. Next hour I am depressed, thoroughly depressed. Okay, very much depressed. 1 hour, it may even 1 minute is enough, okay, for a mood swing. Okay? From Gaga to Ayo no. To Ayo that no. Okay, just 1 minute. Mood swing. And then affliction, feeling sad, feeling affected, feeling hurt, etc. These are all defects. They do not belong to me, the Atma, but me the or my mind they belong to, or to the Jiva. Jiva in ignorance they belong to. But then this is assumed, taken to be belonging to Atma. That's what Bhashyakara says. Ashuddhatva, being impure. Then Papa Viddhatva, being afflicted. Not pure and then being afflicted, being tainted by something. Assuming that one is a papi, I am a sinner, etc. These are all wrong. I am a sinner, this is a wrong concept. I am a sinner. So being a sinner, doing papa, etc. Atma is akarta, that is the truth, but then the person assumes that I am a papi. Papa Viddhatva, I am afflicted by certain things. These are all lok upadaya, just going along with it, taking to this much. Like even, suppose a fellow thinks that I am a cat, okay? Some fellow thinks that I am a cat. Even worse, I am a rat, okay? Even worse. So, I am a rat. This fellow is very thoroughly convinced that I am a rat. And then somebody helps him to take this fellow to a psychiatrist. And then this fellow is very clear, categorically says, I am a rat. Okay, you are a rat. Psychiatrist says, okay, let us assume that you are a rat. Okay. The psychiatrist does not suggest that the fellow is a rat. Okay, you are a rat. The fellow does not say. You think that you are a rat, and therefore let us go along with it for a while. Okay, let us go along with it for a while, and then the psychiatrist follows his own techniques, methods, etc. Fine. Now, here the Shastra does not present Jiva as a samsari, the individual as samsari, but then it just goes along with the thinking of this individual. This is what is said by Upadaya, taking to the misconception. Okay. Why taking to that? So that necessary correction may be handled, may be done. Okay. Sometimes that depends upon the force of the thought, the force of my own conviction about myself. Right? It may be so strong that the real picture of myself does not impinge. I won't buy it at all. Somebody says that you are not a rat, and then if the fellow thinks that I am convinced that I am a rat, then it takes some time for the fellow to understand that I am not a rat, I am a human being. So, to go along with the energy, go along with the power, and then divert it, take it and bring it around. That is the idea. Bring it around, bring the fellow around. Right? So, Shastra, Loka Buddhi Siddham Upadaya, taking to that, assuming that for the sake of bringing the person around to understand one's true nature, karmani vihitani. I have so many desires, I have so many things to be unfulfilled, my wish list is so long, without fulfilling that I will not feel satisfied, feel happy. Okay. And you tell that you are Nitya, you are ever pure, you are the Ananda Rupa. It's all right, it's nice. It's nice to hear, that's all. It's all very sweet words. Thank you for trying to be nice to me. Okay? You are Ananda. Oh, you are just trying nice to be me. That's all. So, thanks for that. Nice to hear, but then I don't feel so about me. So, all right. So, go along with that and then bring it around. Bring the person around. Okay. So, that is the interest. That is a Suhrit. The Shastra is the well-wisher, like the well-wisher. Just go along with that and then try to bring about the healthy changes, necessary changes in the person. So I want this, I want that. Okay. There are two possible ways of accomplishing a thing. One is proper way, there is improper way. Improper way is also there is to accomplish. Some say, the end justifies the means. We don't agree with that. The end justifies means it's not an argument. It's not acceptable. Say like even suppose I want money, okay? Then what should I do now? I rob, I steal. So the end is I want money. The means is I rob, right? I earn money or just I produce money. I produce money, mint money. I want money, that's all. So I earn money now. You do the hard way, I do the easy way. I just mint money, print money. The means, the end I want to have money, the means print money. What's wrong? It's not right, right? Therefore, it's not correct to assume that the end justifies means. The means have to justify themselves also. Why so? Because we live in a civilized society, we live among others. There is dharma, there is something which is becoming and unbecoming, and therefore the means also have to be proper, right? The end will justify proper means, that's all. Appropriate means, that's all. The end will justify means, no. The end justifies the proper means, that's all. That is to say that proper means give the proper end, the goal. Therefore, here there is a proper way of accomplishing things and there is an improper way possible. And therefore there is a possibility, given the fact that human being has a free will, right, the capacity to choose, the person may choose an inappropriate means the person may choose. How do we know that? We see people making inappropriate choices, taking to inappropriate ways and means. We do see people. And what comes of it? Instead of accomplishing the end, there is suffering. There is suffering at the end. But not freedom from suffering, but suffering is the end product. They suffer for themselves and others also suffer because of that. Like passive smoking, okay? Like passive smoking. Therefore, to avoid the person taking to wrong means, the Shastra gives the proper means, that's all. I have desires and then okay, you have these desires. You think they are valid, you must fulfill them. Only having them you will feel satisfied. Alright, then these are the proper means to accomplish. So that's all Shastra's intention. So by giving the proper means, the Shastra helps the person find in oneself a commitment for the proper means, for what is appropriate, for dharma. Help the person find a commitment for dharma. And dharma makes the person find the freedom within. Once a person takes to dharma, there is relatively a huge freedom within. One is free. You take the proper means, then you are free. Morally you are free. Spiritually you are free. Within you are free. You do the right thing, then you are free. You choose the right thing and do the right thing, then you are free. You are free within. Why free? No, you are free from conflict, free from irresponsibility. You are not irresponsible to do the right thing. And then you are right. You are always right within dharma. You find your dharma, then you stick to it, then you are free. There is freedom in dharma. Many people think that dharma restricts our freedom. Do this, don't do this, seems to restrict our freedom. No, it restricts our suffering, that's all. Right? Dharma is vast, and within dharma you are always right. Within your dharma you are always right. There may be certain choices which give more material result or something, and there is some other means which may give a less material result, right? But then, whatever be the material result, whatever be the quantum of result, but then you are always right. You are never wrong. You are never morally, ethically, in terms of conduct, character, you are never wrong. You will never suffer from guilt. Why I chose the wrong thing. That guilt will never be there. You are free. When? Right now and forever. For having chosen something right, appropriate, you are free now and you are free forever. Okay? So, then, therefore, dharma, adhering to dharma, makes one discover the freedom. Freedom from guilt. Why I chose the wrong thing. Why I did not do the right thing. No? When I was in school, why I did not go to school. I went after the donkeys and buffaloes. Okay? Why I did that? I should have studied. I should have gone to school. My father, mother, they sent me to school, but I did not go to school. I should have done that. Late realization. Okay? All right, join the adult education program. Okay, I will do that. You are fine. Okay. So what I say, when one choose the right thing, then one is free from the guilt. Freedom from guilt is there. Because you have done right thing. You chose the right thing, you did it, then you are free. Also, as one discovers the freedom by because due to making proper choices, one also discovers the happiness, the joy in taking to dharma. I am free, then I am happy, I am peaceful, I don't suffer from guilt, then I am peaceful and happy. Help the person discover happiness also. And dharma rewards, righteousness rewards. It may not seem to give material rewards, in ample material rewards immediately. It may not be so. Taking to dharma doesn't pay, right? It may seem so. It may seem that doesn't pay. It doesn't pay to be righteous. That's all, right? The pay, etc. is all immediate result, material result. But there are more than what meets the eye. There is more consequence, which is called punya, etc. It is there, which will translate, right? Will translate into meaningfulness and then happiness later on. It is not that all the results are immediate. There are results which come later also. So those are definitely there, and they are more profound than many a times the immediate consequences, immediate results. The immediate consequence may seem big, loom large, seem big now, but the later future consequences really may be more profound, more influencing. Therefore, one has the conviction that I do what I have to do, and I do to the best of my abilities and spirit and skill and knowledge, intention I do, then I am free, right? This is my part. Doing is my part. Choosing and doing is my part. I do this, then I am free. That's all. Getting the result, that's not in my hands. Okay? Karmani eva adhikaraha te ma phaleshu kadachana. Krishna tells, we have choices over action only, never over the results. We don't have a choice over the result. Result comes. We may desire some result, and for the result we find out the appropriate means and then we do it. Choosing that and doing that is in our hands. But the result is not in our hands. We may desire certain results. Wanting to have the result only, we choose, yes. But getting the result is not in our hands. Okay? So it is not in our hands. It is decided governed by the order, the vast order. Dharma governs that. Like even I can suppose I want a mango from the tree, my own tree, say not neighbor's tree, my own tree, and then it is hanging from this at a height. I want this ripe mango. I can use a catapult, hit it, try to hit it. That is within my hands, right? But then the stone hitting the mango and then the mango falling, that is not in my hands. That is governed by the law of physics, etc. That governs it. So our faculties, our freedom is in only making appropriate wise choices and doing them, taking to them. This is in our hands. Then you are free. Your job is done. That is what. You are no more. You cannot be held responsible anymore, right, for the result. You are not responsible. You don't have to have the pressure of having the result because you have done your part. You have done your part. That's it. So therefore, taking to Dharma helps one discover this sense of freedom, the sense of fulfillment. Then I have to do this, I did this. That's all. Therefore, karmani vihitani, so that one can discover the freedom within, at least relatively freedom within. And then that freedom, sense of freedom is abiding. There is no conflict. There is no conflict when you take to Dharma. If there is a seeming conflict, that can be resolved. Okay? Like Arjuna had a conflict. Should I fight in the battle or should I not fight the battle? Then Krishna points out, it is your dharma, Arjuna, to fight is your dharma now. This is what demanded, this is what is expected of you. You have to fight. So, any conflict, seeming conflict in dharma can be resolved, right? As I said, within dharma there could be many choices, and all of them are equally correct in the light of dharma. This is also dharma. The other thing is dharma. The third thing is dharma. You choose anything you like. You are still okay. You are never wrong. Okay. You are not gone against the order of dharma. Therefore, by doing this karma, one discovers the freedom from guilt, freedom from conflict, and also the sense of fulfillment. I have done this, the satisfaction of having done what one has to do, what one can do, what one has to do. There is a fulfillment. I have done this fully. So, these discoveries help a person understand one's true nature. When I do the right thing, I feel good, I feel free, I feel happy. So this discovery about oneself is very, very important, and that is why the Shastra enjoins karma. Okay? Karmani vihitani. Taking to the person's thinking that I am a karta, I am a doer, I am a sufferer, I am a sorrow, etc. And then guiding the person, helping the person take to the proper means, proper actions, dharma, and thereby making the person slowly see in oneself the freedom from conflict, freedom from guilt, right? And then the sense of satisfaction, all that dharma helps a person discover in oneself. And therefore, karmani vihitani. Not with the purpose of agreeing with the person that I am a karta, I am a samsari. Okay? I am samsari, I am small, I am subject to afflictions. Not to agree with the person, not to confirm the person's thinking, but to correct the person's thinking in due course at least. Therefore, karmani vihitani. Bhashyakara points out in the following sentence, who is a karta, who does actions, who chooses to do certain things. Bhashyakara points out here. Yohi karma phalena arthi drishtena brahmavarchasadina adrishtena svargadina cha dvijatihi aham na karna kubjatvadi anadhikara prayojaka dharmavan iti atmanam manyate saha adhikriyate karmasu iti itihi adhikara vidaha vadanti. Who is adhikari? Bhashyakara points out. The word adhikari is to be understood properly. That Bhashyakara himself explains who is an adhikari. An adhikari is a person who has to do that what? A certain thing. The person has to do. That is the adhikari. Or the person wants to do. Both are the has to do, wants to do. Like adhikara does not just mean a right, okay? A right to do this. I have the right to do, etc. That is not the complete meaning of the word adhikara. Not only right, but also a responsibility is there. Right and responsibility together makes adhikara. The right to do this and the responsibility to do that. For certain professions, we need the qualified person to do that, right? The qualified person. So the qualified person or the appointed person has the right to do that, right? And not only the right, because of that person is appointed to do this, the person also has the responsibility to do that. So the right and responsibility together determine the adhikara. Adhikara does not just mean right, the privilege, right. I have the right to do that. I am the adhikari for it. I am the qualified one for it. Yes, you have a right, yes, but at the same time you have the responsibility also. Right? This is not seen. Usually, the responsibility part of it is not seen when people think of adhikara, a privilege or a right. So every privilege goes with the responsibility. Every right goes with the responsibility. Every power goes with the responsibility. So together we have this to be understood. So suppose somebody has adhikara to do some action, then the person has the right to do it. And also the person has an obligation to do it. I always think of the traffic police, okay? The traffic policeman. So who has the right to regulate the traffic? The traffic policeman or policewoman. That fellow has the adhikara, the right to regulate. Not any Tom, Dick and Harry, right? Just like that I feel like I should regulate the traffic. Just like that, stop, go, and all that. I don't have the right to do. I am not the qualified person. I don't have the license or I don't have the right. And who has to do this? The policeman has to do that. The responsibility. Right? Who else will do? This fellow has to do. And who has the right to do? The policeman has the right to do. So, it's like the adhikara. You need to see in this light of right and responsibility. Privilege and responsibility. Both together. So, certain things are enjoined for certain persons. Right? So, they have the adhikara means that is their privilege to do. And at the same time, They have the responsibility. They have to do this. Okay, that's the adhikar. Adhikriyate. Okay. Therefore, Bhashyakara says, who is adhikari in karma here? He says, yaha hi karma phalena arti. And then drishtena, adrishtena vacha, etc. Certain factors which determine the adhikari, he points out. And this is not just Bhashyakara's statement here. His point says that this is what is said by the people who know what is adhikara. Adhikara vidaha vadanti. Those who are in the know of what is adhikara, who is an adhikari, etc. That learned people say this, that these factors determine who is an adhikari for certain things, etc. This we will see. We will see tomorrow. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Shishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.